If there was one thing Isabella Okafor hated more than fake friends, it was being told what to do. And yet, here she was, seated in her 22nd floor glass office in Victoria Island, while her PR manager Reby stood before her, arms folded, chewing gum noisily like she was auditioning for a Nollywood market scene. Welcome to Niger Prince Folktales. Subscribe for fresh content, and let's explore the richness of tales. Join our community of like-minded story lovers. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment for new stories every week. Thanks. Let's know where you are watching from in the comments section. Madam Bella, Reby said, snapping her gum for emphasis. These investors are flying in from Switzerland tomorrow. Do you know what that means? Isabella, dressed in a sleek navy pantsuit with diamond studs in her ears, didn't even look up from her laptop. That they'll eat jollof rice with fork and knife and still disgrace themselves? Reby rolled her eyes. It means you need to look stable, settled, family woman vibes. Isabella finally looked up, her almond-shaped eyes narrowing. Reby, I run a company worth $3 billion. I employ more staff than some states in Nigeria. I pay taxes most of the time. What's more responsible than that? Reby wasn't moved. Investors don't care, ma. They want to see that you understand commitment. And right now, you look like a woman who breaks hearts for breakfast. Isabella smirked. Maybe I do. Reby slammed her hand on the desk. Madam, you need a husband, at least for tomorrow night's gala. Isabella's jaw dropped. Excuse me? A husband? Out of thin air. Yes! Reby snapped, her gelly bobbing. Borrow, rent, hire. Whatever. Just show up with a ring on your finger and a man by your side. After that, you can return him to sender. Simple. Are you insane? Isabella scoffed. Reby grabbed her bag dramatically. When the Swiss ask, "Where is your family?" Don't call me I'll be in church, praying for your downfall. The door slammed, leaving Isabella staring into space. A husband? Overnight? Of all the ridiculous strategies. Hours later, Isabella's sleek black Bentley was crawling through the Lagos traffic near Ikoyi Bridge. She sat at the back, her phone in hand, her mind racing. She was a queen in her own world, but tonight she felt cornered. Then her eyes caught something unusual. By the edge of the bridge sat a scruffy young man, cross-legged on a flattened carton, arguing bitterly with two stubborn goats. His shirt looked like it had been chewed by hunger, his trousers were begging for retirement. And his hair? His hair looked like it had been in a permanent fight with the wind. Yet there was something fiery in his eyes. Shift, nah! He barked at the goats, dragging his nylon bag closer. You think say nah your papa by this bridge? Even animal don day a press man for Lagos. The goat bleated, chewing paper. See me see walla, he muttered. Even goats get better life pass me. The driver chuckled under his breath. Isabella's lips twitched, though she tried not to smile. She leaned forward suddenly. Stop the car. The Bentley eased to a halt. Isabella stepped out, her red-bottom heels clicking against the pavement, her perfume slicing through the evening air. Heads turned. Hawkers froze. Even the goats paused mid-chew. The man looked up, squinting at her expensive suit. Oga madam, a beg, if you no one dash me money, no disturb me, he said, his tone bold. Isabella raised a brow. You live here? Yes, nah, he said proudly, gesturing to the concrete patch. My penthouse. Sea view, goat neighbors, fresh air. No nipa wala. Best rent-free estate in Lagos. For the first time that day, Isabella laughed. A real laugh, not the polished boardroom chuckle she reserved for investors. What's your name? She asked. Emeka, he said, puffing out his chest. But people call me Prophet Gary, because I fit predict who go borrow Gary today. Listen, Emeka, Isabella said, lowering her voice like a woman planning a coup. I have a proposal for you. Emika's eyes narrowed suspiciously. Proposal? Madam, I no day do sugar mummy runs oh. Find another candidate. Isabella blinked, then burst out laughing. God forbid. I want you to act as my husband. Just for one night. Emika froze. Then he burst into laughter so loud that even passing hawkers stopped to watch. You day whine me? Husband? Me? In this my ragged glory? Madam, no be prank show be this. Isabella pulled out an envelope, thick with $100 bills, and dropped it on his lap. Emika gasped. He sniffed it. He bit one note. He even fanned himself with it. Chai! This money fit buy me 10 mattresses and still remain change for malt. He looked at her suspiciously again. Wait, you serious? Dead serious, Isabella said coolly. Emika scratched his beard. So na film we day act? You, Madam CEO. Me, husband. Who be director? Life, Isabella muttered, is the director. Emika shrugged. Okay, oh. But make I warn you, if anybody ask my favorite food, I no go lie. I go tell them Gary with groundnut. That one na my truth. And that was how the strangest partnership in Lagos history began. A billionaire queen and a homeless prophet, tied together by desperation, sarcasm, and one ridiculous plan. Neither of them knew it yet, but this act would turn their lives upside down. If Lagos had a temple of wealth, it was the Lagoon View Convention Hall. Chandeliers like frozen waterfalls dripped light from the ceiling. Violins hummed in the background, and the marble floor shone so brightly it looked like angels polished it every morning with Holy Ghost oil. That night, the place was stuffed with billionaires, senators, Instagram influencers, and people who had no idea why they were invited, but just came for free food. And walking into that hall, side by side, was Isabella Okafor, billionaire CEO goddess of the business world, and Emika the prophet of Gary, wearing a borrowed tuxedo that seemed allergic to his body. Earlier that day, Isabella's staff had almost resigned trying to upgrade Emika. The barber shouted, "Hold your head straight, Oga." Emika snapped back. "How person go hold head straight when clipper day bite me like mosquito?" The stylist tried to fit him into a tuxedo. Emika groaned. "See this cloth way tight like coffin. Madam Isabella won't kill me?" Finally, they forced him into shiny shoes. He walked 3 steps and hissed, "These shoes day bite. I go remove am for party if walla too much." By the time he was done, Emika looked like a Nollywood prince who had missed his salon appointment, but still crashed the wedding. Isabella, however, was satisfied. "You'll pass," she muttered, adjusting his bow tie. Emika smirked. "Pass for what? Husband WAC exam?" When they entered the gala, flashbulbs went wild. Journalists scrambled like agitated fowls. "Madam Isabella," one shouted, "is this your mystery husband we've been hearing about?" Another asked. Emika, thinking it was normal street friendliness, waved happily. "My people, una do well. Who gets suya for here?" The reporters gasped. Isabella smiled stiffly, gripping his arm tighter than handcuffs. At the long glass VIP table, wine glasses sparkled, cutlery lined up like obedient soldiers. Isabella picked up her fork gracefully. Emika grabbed his own like he was about to dig cassava from the ground. He leaned toward her and whispered loudly, "Why dem put 5 spoon and 3 fork? Abi na promo pack." Isabella forced a smile, whispering back, "Just copy me." The waiter brought caviar. Emika poked it with suspicion. "Madam, a beg, why dem serve frog egg? Na food be this?" A senator's wife gasped. A minister nearly choked on his champagne. Isabella wanted the ground to swallow her. But Emika wasn't done. He lifted the jug of water, ignored the glasses, and drank straight from the source. "Ah," he sighed. "Better pass sachet water. This one no get nylon taste." The table went silent. Then somewhere, someone laughed. Then another. Soon, Quiet chuckles spread across the room. Isabella's cheeks burned, but she noticed something strange. People were entertained. They weren't frowning. They were curious about this raw, unfiltered husband. Just when Isabella thought things couldn't get worse, her best friend Amara walked into the hall. Amara Nwosu, graceful, tall, dressed in a flowing crimson gown that turned heads like police sirens. She was everything perfect about Lagos womanhood. Beauty with brains, charm with kindness. But as Isabella greeted her, something made her freeze. At the bar, one of the foreign investors, a bald man drenched in cologne, was leaning too close to Amara, ignoring her polite refusals. Isabella rose, fury in her eyes, but Emeka was already on his feet. "Excuse me," he boomed, striding across the hall like a king in borrowed glory. Heads turned. The violins faltered. He wedged himself between Amara and the investor, puffing his chest. "Oga, stop disturbing my wife." Amara blinked. "You're what?" "Yes," Emeka said with full confidence. "This fine woman here, she's my second wife." Bride price still fresh. The hall exploded into gasps and murmurs. "Derek, sorry, Isabella." Almost fainted on the spot. The investor stuttered, humiliated, and backed away quickly. Amara covered her mouth to hide her laughter. "You're unbelievable," she whispered to Emeka. Emeka grinned. "Thank you. Not talent." When Emeka returned to the table, Isabella leaned in, her voice sharper than pepper soup. "What was that?" "I saved her," Emeka replied calmly, pocketing 2 bread rolls. "You embarrass me." "No, I embarrass the bald man." "You? I made you look like you merry brave husband." Isabella froze. The logic was twisted, but true. The crowd was buzzing, not with scandal, but admiration. Investors were nodding, smiling at her bold, authentic husband. As Emeka cracked jokes with waiters, made Amara laugh until she teared up, and turned disaster into applause, Isabella felt a strange tug inside her chest. He was rough. He was embarrassing. He was impossible. But in that chaos, he was also unforgettable. And for the first time that night, Isabella Okafor, queen of boardrooms, asked herself a question she had never dared before. What if this isn't just an act? The gala was supposed to be the end of the madness. Isabella's plan was simple. Pay Emeka, drop him at the bridge where she found him, and never speak of it again. But Emeka had other plans. The morning after, Isabella strutted into her Banana Island living room in a silk robe, ready to sip coffee and scroll through her emails. But there he was, Emeka the prophet of Gary, sprawled on her designer sofa, eating chin-chin from the jar like he owned the place. "What are you still doing here?" she demanded, her voice sharp. Emeka didn't flinch. He poured chin-chin into his palm, popped some into his mouth, and said, "Madam, I still day on contract." "What contract?" Isabella snapped. "The spiritual one," Emeka said with a straight face. "Until my spirits say, it is finished, I no day move." Isabella's jaw dropped. "Do you realize this sofa costs more than your entire bridge?" Emeka leaned back, patting the cushions. "Na why day comfortable." "Madam, abeg, this your house too sweet. Goat neighbors no go ever allow me leave this kind life." Isabella's head spun. She was a CEO who commanded thousands. Yet somehow this scruffy man was outsmarting her in her own mansion. Later that night, Isabella smelled something strange. Not the aroma of her chef's carefully curated meals. No, this was Maggie and smoke. She stormed into her multi-million naira kitchen and froze. Emeka, shirtless and barefoot, was whistling happily as he stirred noodles in a 2 million naira saucepan. On the counter sat a loaf of ajij bread, half demolished. "Emeka!" Isabella thundered. "What are you doing?" "Cooking," he said casually, tasting the broth. "All that Oyabo food in your fridge way I no fit pronounce. No get future. Noodles not international language." That's an imported saucepan, Isabella barked. Good, Emeka grinned. Then na imported noodles we go chop. When he served the meal, he ignored her golden plates and instead whipped out his own cracked plastic plate from his nylon bag. This one day give food correct taste. He slurped noisily, smacking his lips. Ah, see better soup. Madam, you want taste? Isabella glared. But then, against her will, laughter burst out of her chest. Real laughter. The kind that startled even her. Emeka grinned wider. You see, you day fine when you laugh. Like woman way remove high heel stress. The next morning, Isabella was holding a Zoom call with international investors when she heard a loud splash outside. She rushed out and nearly fainted. Emeka was in her infinity pool, thrashing around like a drowning goat. His tuxedo pants floated beside him. What are you doing? She screamed. Exercise. Emeka coughed, spitting water. But this your swimming pool wicked o. E no get shallow end. Nah set up. Get out before you drown. Isabella grabbed a towel and threw it at him. Emeka climbed out, dripping wet, grinning like a madman. This one pass baptism. Devil no fit near me again. Her investors, watching from the laptop behind her, asked, Is everything all right, Madam Isabella? Isabella clenched her teeth, forcing a smile. Perfect. Just family exercise. That night, restless, Isabella found Emeka lying on the grass in her garden, staring at the stars. She folded her arms. Why are you out here? Emeka's voice was softer than usual. Because your sky day different. From bridge, smoke day cover everything. Sometimes I day think say God forget poor people. Isabella's chest tightened. She walked closer. God doesn't forget anyone. But sometimes I feel forgotten too. Emeka turned to her, his rough face glowing under moonlight. How person way get everything go still feel forgotten? Because everyone wants something from me, Isabella said quietly. My money, my power. No one just sees me. For once, Emeka didn't joke. He reached out, plucked a blade of grass, and twirled it between his fingers. Then maybe me and you know two different. One rich, one poor. Both lonely. Their eyes locked. For a moment, the world shrank to just the two of them under the stars. Isabella's heart skipped, panic and warmth mixing dangerously. She cleared her throat. You should go to bed. Emeka yawned, stretching. This grass bed pass my bridge mattress. I day here till morning. Isabella walked away quickly, pulse racing. Meanwhile, across town, Amara sat in her apartment sipping Zobo, replaying the gala in her head. She laughed again at Emeka's ridiculous lie, claiming she was his second wife. But then her laughter softened into thought. Who was he really? Scruffy, wild, unpredictable, yet protective in a way that most rich men never were. She smiled to herself, not realizing that the chaotic man in the borrowed tuxedo was about to tangle all their hearts. And so, what began as a fake husband arrangement was already mutating into something deeper, funnier, and far messier. Genuine connection. If Isabella thought Emeka's stay in her mansion was temporary, she had clearly underestimated him. Days turned into weeks, and Emeka settled in like a tenant who paid rent with vibes. The staff were divided. Some loved him. He made them laugh and sneak suya into the kitchen. Others prayed daily for deliverance from his chaos. But Isabella? She was torn between strangling him and missing him when he wasn't around. Then came another gala. The Abedike Foundation's annual charity ball was the highlight of the Lagos social calendar. It was a night for the who's who, to wear gelly taller than ambition, to donate money with one hand while stealing spotlight with the other. Isabella had to attend, and of course, Emeka insisted on following. Where you day go, na there I day go, he told her, adjusting his bow tie in the mirror. Na spiritual marriage we get. Isabella groaned. Emeka, you're not my husband. Emeka winked. Tell that to the journalists. They no go believe you. The ballroom was breathtaking. Golden chandeliers, violins playing softly, air thick with expensive perfume and ego. Isabella entered gracefully, dazzling in a silver gown that shimmered with every step. Beside her was Emeka, tuxedo slightly crooked, shoes shining like borrowed destiny. He walked with the swagger of a man who had conquered Banana Island, even though his spirit was still partly on the bridge. As they mingled, whispers spread like wildfire. But across the room, two elderly figures froze. Chief Obadike and his wife Lolo Obadike, one of Nigeria's richest couples, clutched each other's hands as their eyes locked on Emeka. Lolo's lips trembled. Obio, look! Chief's hand shook, champagne glass slipping slightly. That mark, it can't be. Because there, just below Emeka's left ear, was a crescent-shaped birthmark, the same mark their son, Chukwudi, had borne before he disappeared during a market riot 27 years ago. The couple staggered forward, their eyes wide with disbelief. Isabella was chatting with an investor when she noticed the Obadikes rushing towards Emeka. Before she could react, Lolo Obadike grabbed Emeka's face with trembling hands. "My son," she cried, tears spilling. "Chukwudi! My baby!" The hall froze. Guests gasped. Forks clinked against plates. Even the band stopped mid-song. Emeka blinked. "En?" Chief Obadike pointed, voice breaking. "That birthmark! The same one our son had! You are him!" Emeka frowned, touching his neck. "This small mosquito bite? A beg-leave story." But Lolo collapsed against him, sobbing. "I knew I'd find you one day. My blood, my child." Phones flew up. Journalists whispered like market women. Isabella's jaw dropped. What on earth was happening? Emeka, overwhelmed, raised a hand. "Wait, make una no rush me. Na 2025 we day. Scam day everywhere. How I go no say una no be Yahoo couple way day use emotional blackmail." Gasps. Lolo nearly fainted. Chief Obadike shook his head, voice trembling. "You refused pap as a child. You would only eat Gary with groundnut. Even as baby. That was your stubbornness." Emeka froze. His bread roll dropped from his hand. He whispered, "Jesus of Nazareth, how una know?" Lolo wailed louder. "Because we fed you with it." The hall erupted. People clapped, others cried, some just shouted. Wonders shall never end. As the reunion unfolded, Isabella stood frozen. Rage and confusion twisted inside her. She had plucked Emeka off a bridge. She had dressed him, fed him, shielded him from embarrassment. And now, she was finding out he was never truly poor. He was born into even more wealth than her. But worse than the betrayal was the ache in her chest. Somewhere between the gala chaos, the noodles in her saucepan, and the garden confessions, she had started to care. And now, watching him hugged by his real parents, she wondered, was she about to lose him? Across the hall, Amara watched too. Her heart swelled with happiness for Emeka, but also tightened painfully. She liked him, more than she wanted to admit. His boldness, his unpredictability, the way he defended her that night. But now, he wasn't just Prophet Gary anymore. He was Chukwudi Obadike, heir to a fortune. And that changed everything. The crowd pressed in, congratulating, speculating, buzzing with gossip. The cameras flashed nonstop. Emeka's head spun. Too many lights. Too many voices. And perhaps too much puff-puff. Because right there, in the middle of the Obadike's arms, the newly discovered billionaire heir swayed, clutched his stomach, and fainted flat on the ballroom floor. The hall screamed in unison. And just like that, the truth was out. The man Isabella thought she hired was not only her chaos, her headache, and her laughter. He was also the long-lost heir of one of the richest families in Nigeria. When Emeka fainted, the Obadike gala scattered like pepper inside eyes. Some people screamed, others brought out phones to record, while one confused senator started shouting, "Is he dead? Call CNN." But Isabella didn't think twice. Her heels clattered against the marble as she dropped to her knees beside him, shaking him desperately. "Emeka, don't you dare pull a stunt here. Wake up. You still owe me noodles." Slowly, his eyes fluttered open. He groaned. "Na puff puff do me owe. Too soft, too plenty. I no fit resist." The room exhaled in relief. Chief and Lolo Obadike wept openly, hugging him tight. "Our son is alive. Chukwudi has returned." By morning, Lagos was on fire. Not literally, but on Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok. Headlines read, "From bridge to billionaire, the lost Obadike son found. Prophet Gary turns out to be billionaire heir." Isabella Okafor's mystery husband revealed as long-lost child of Obadikes. Memes flew everywhere. Emeka in tuxedo beside goats. Emeka drinking from a jug captioned, "Authenticity is the new luxury." Banana Island gatekeepers even refused to gossip about anyone else for 2 whole days. The Obadikes wasted no time. They moved Emeka into their sprawling mansion in Ikoyi, surrounding him with chefs, maids, and a driver who called him sir with every breath. Lolo fussed endlessly. "Eat, my son! Eat!" Chief Obadike, beaming, began introducing him to business partners. "Meet my heir. Sharp boy. Even lived with goats and survived. Who else fit manage empire?" But Emeka remained. Emeka. At dinner, they served escargot. He frowned. "Snail way day gutter. Una day serve me in Oyabo accent? A beg pass me, Gary." Lolo gasped. Chief choked on his wine. But Isabella, seated as a guest of honor, stifled her laughter until her shoulders shook. For days, Isabella kept her distance. She couldn't process it. She had pulled Emeka from under a bridge. She had cleaned him up, endured his chaos, and, without realizing, opened her heart to him. Now, suddenly, he was richer than her by bloodline. Her pride screamed, "Walk away." Her heart whispered, "Stay." And every time she remembered his words in the garden, one rich, one poor, both lonely, her chest tightened. One quiet night, Isabella finally found him on the Obadike mansion balcony, staring at the Lagos skyline. The air between them was heavy with everything unsaid. "You turned my life upside down," Isabella said softly. Emeka chuckled, not looking at her. "Nah talent. I hired you for one night," Isabella continued, voice shaking. "But instead, you made me laugh again. You made me feel seen." Emeka turned to her slowly, eyes glinting in the city lights. "Madam Bella, wait no. Isabella, you think not only you? Since I meet you, my life change. No be the money, or this fine house. Na you, your stubbornness, your walla, your laugh when you forget to be CEO." Isabella's throat tightened. "So what now? You're Chukwudi Obadike, billionaire heir. You don't need me anymore." Emeka stepped closer, closing the distance. "Rich or poor, lost or found, na you I want. No refund." Her lips trembled. Then, finally, she whispered the words that had been trapped in her chest for weeks. "I love you, Emeka." Amara watched from afar. She had laughed with Emeka, admired him, even dreamed briefly. But seeing him with Isabella, she knew the truth. When she met him the next day, she smiled sadly. "I hope she makes you as happy as you made me laugh that night." Emeka hugged her warmly. "You go find better man pass me. Me, I too stubborn." They both laughed, and just like that, Amara let him go with grace. Weeks later, Lagos witnessed a spectacle like no other, a double celebration. Emeka's official welcome into the Obadike family and his union with Isabella. The hall glittered with gold drapes. Fireworks boomed outside, and the air reeked of champagne and suya. Guests danced in Agbada's starch-like armor. Women in gellies taller than ambition. Influencers live streaming every second. And in the center stood Isabella and Emeka, side by side. Not pretending anymore, not acting, just two unlikely souls bound by fate. When asked to give a toast, Emeka raised his glass and said loudly, "To God way carry me from under bridge, put me inside Banana Island. To puff puff way nearly kill me. And to love, ray all love, way money no fit buy." The hall roared with laughter and applause. Isabella, shaking her head with a smile, squeezed his hand. Later, under the Lagos night sky, fireworks exploded in red and gold. Isabella leaned against Emeka on the balcony, the city sprawling beneath them. "You realize," she whispered, "this all started because I needed a husband for one night." Emeka smirked, kissing her forehead. "And now you're stuck with me forever. Madam CEO, no refund policy." She laughed, pulling him close. "Good. I don't want one." And as the last firework burst into a glowing heart in the sky, their story, born from desperation, built on chaos, sealed by destiny, became something no money could measure. Forever love. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.